kumtundu wa Malawi kufotokoza ndondomeko zomwe akufuna kuti boma lake lichite kuyambira chaka chino mpaka chaka chamawa, ndipo anafotokoza zinthu zambiri ndithu. Ndipo sabata ziwiri zimenezi zapitazi aphungu aku nyumba ya malamulo akhala akupereka ndemanga zawo pa zimene anayankhula mtsogoleri wa dziko linoyu, kufotokoza kugwirizana ndi zimene anayankhula mtsogoleri wa dziko lino. Ndipo lero lino nduna ya zachuma ndi pamene ifotokoze tsatane wa ndondomeko imeneyi ya zachuma. Ndiye sindili ndekha kuno ku nyumba ya malamulo, ndilinso ndi mzanga Philip Business amene akufuna acheze ndi anthu angapo anzathu ndithu kuti afotokozepo kuti kodi lero lino Amalawi ayembekezere zotani. Philip, ndakulandira.
Zikomo kwambiri Raymond.
Waswera bwanji?
Ndaswera bwanji. Kutentha lero madigiri oseti tikalanda ngati. Ndipo
dzuwa lili bwe.
Ndiye kuno paja nyumba ya malamulo kwa mambo waje majeketi. Ndiye jeketi nkutentha. Tizonera takula tata.
Basi.
Ndithu lizanga Raymond. Tinati ticheze ndi anthu angapo, maphungu pikiti dikirira mitima ijokoli ya Malawi kuti amva zotani, boma la akonzera zotani, nkhani zosiyana za umoyo, maphunziro nzina zoterozo. Tindaro nkhani angapo. Akwathu konkuno kuti atifotokozere ndi pati kidambula ndipo mpano khala kuyenda mutsoka market uku Lilongwe masenti kwa mbwatalika. Timve kuti wamva zotani Patrick Dambula, anthu akuyembekezera zotani Patrick. Kosola bwanji oyamba.
Taswera bwino kaino.
Akuti chani wadi kutsoka market.
Ayi nafunsapo ena achinyamata amati boma aliyesetse kupanga nkhani ya ntchito iyi chifukwa chokuti pali achinyamata kuti mwina amaliza masukulu ena mpaka na ku university kumene adakalibe chochita. Boma mbali imeneyo liyesetse zimenezo amakamba ndi achinyamata akabaza ena ukuti mwina kupanga zotumiza ndalama mayatero mani mu Ndiye tinapezanso anthu ena akunena kuti koma nkhani yayikulu ikhale tourism zokopa alendo, akuti nyanja tinayo yachikhalire imene ili ndi zonse zoyenerera. Maiko ena anapanga tourism ngakhale nyanja akukongofunika kuti kumene kuja kukhale zinthu zabwino mbali monse mwa nyanja buja mukhale mahotelo abwino ndi zinthu zosiyana zimene anzathu amachita kuti tourism ipite patsogolo. Akuti tikatero
taimira pompo nkhani ya forex drama ya kunja ichi.
Ikatero ndi forex idzibwera chifukwa tourism imabweretsa ndalama zakunja.
Timva kuti pene kuti zitabwanji mu ndondomeko za chuma 2026 mpaka 2027 ukhale pompo Patrick Dambula ndi Hassan Phiri amene ndi ndilonkhani wathu chigawo cha kumpoto kuchitipa kurumpi wa maponda pena paliponse. Akuti chani kumpoto?
Kumpoto tu anthu ali ndi chiyembekezo chachikulu pa dongosolo la zachuma la chaka chino imene anduna zachuma a Joseph Mwanamveka akufuna kuti apereke lero mnyumba ya malamulo. Anthu kumpoto akuyang'ana kwambiri nkhani za chitukuko. Mukudziwa kumpoto a president mu sona yawo anazatchulapo za msewu ngati wa Rumpi, Nyika komanso mpaka ukatulukira kuchitipa. Msewu umene uja ndofunikira kwambiri mchigawo cha kumpoto poganiziranso kuti munga mmene amanenera Dambula ukukhuza kwambiri ntchito za zokopa alendo paja kudutsanso kumalo aja otetezedwa osungira nyama a Nyika National Park. Komanso anthu akukamba kwambiri za msewu uja wa M1 ngati mmene anafotokozerera mtsogoleri wa dziko lino Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika kuti msewu wa M1 kuchoka pa Kacheche ukafika kuchiweta dera limene chali ndilofunikira kwambiri kukaronga ndikumene kumachokera china chilichonse cha transportation za mafuta galimoto kaya chani. Anthu ali ndi chidwi kwambiri mu dongosolo la zachuma limene nkhani ya fertilizer kumpoto anthu amakonda kwambiri ulimi komanso zinthu zosiyana CDF ndimene ili pa mtima kwambiri 5 billion kwacha ndimene ili pa mtima kwambiri kwa Malawi kwa mchigawo cha kumpoto akuyembekezera kuti 5 billion kwacha imene it's a game changer. Ila akwana kuti it's a game changer.
Koma akutosoma ngotafuna a president ndalama musadzatafune 5 billion umangotafuna unga ntumba akutero
ndithu a president anthu akumpoto kuku amaoneka kuti ndi discipline kwambiri when it comes to financial management. Ali ready kwambiri Amalawi onse
usajoke Hassan Phiri. Barbara Mwandira, Barbara iwe waponda pande paliponse kunsanje kuchikwawa kucholo kuti waponda paliponse Amalawi kuti chani kuti za ndondomeko akuyembekezera zotani za ndondomeko za chuma.
Zikomo kwambiri mzanga Philip Business titayenda ndithu madera chigawo chakumwera anthu ali ndi chiyembekezo chochuluka kuti ndondomeko imene ya zachuma ifikire madera onse. Mukudziwa kuti mu State of the Nation Address anakambapo nkhani imene yofunika mwina president amangama za fuel, fertilizer, forex komanso ndondomeko zonse zimene mtsogoleri anaziyika musona anthu tuchigawo chakumwera akuyembekezera. mukudziwa kuti kumwera ndi mbali imodzi imene kuli Shire Valley Transformation Project ali ndi chiyembekezo kuti yayi ntchito zimenezi zikhale zopitirira, komanso nkhani ya chakudya, nkhani tu ndi mbamu munthu akamakhala pamoyo. Akuyembekezera kuti bajeti imeneyi ifikirenso madera onse. Tikakambanso za nkhani ya maphunziro ku chigawo chakumwera akuyembekezera kuti yayi ma technical college maphunziro akweneka kupita pamwamba, komanso mmene atsekulira kumene kuti maphunziro aku sekondari aulere ali ndi chiyembekezo kuti kumene kuku. Tikakambanso nkhani ya chuma mmene chikuyendera, anthu kumwera amadalira kuti akatakati mabizinesi akalima timbatatatawo kandi kuchira dzulu, akuyembekezera kuti mbewu zawo zakamagulitsa azipezanso kenakake. Ndiye mzanga Philip ndikuona kuti nyumba ya malamulo tumenemu zonse zili mchimake
mitima atu ili jogoli ya Malawi so
kuti kodi kubwerezo otani, koma anthu ali
ambira ali pakanema wireless zosiyana kuti atsate kuti budget 2026 2027 ziyenda bwanji. Dambo loja tinene kuti akhalepo pa Patrick ose chigawo chapakati ndizo kunena kuti amakonda atu ulimi tu anthu ku akuti chani kuti
nkhani ya ulimi chachikulu chimene anthu ambiri ayankhula m'misewu mutitacheza nawo akunena kuti ndithu zinthu zafetereza zikuchitikasi zipitirire ndiponso mwina zifikira anthu ochuluka, chifukwa kunokonso ndiye kuchimakenso kwa ulimi ku chigawo chapakati. Tikati fodya wambiri amachokera konkuno, tikati chimanga takhala tikudziwika kwambiri ndi nkhani yolima chimanga kunoko chigawo chapakati. Nkhani ya ulimi anthu ambiri akukondwera ndi kunena kuti ofetereza wayamba kupezeka ndi zimene zipitirire ndipo zifikirenso anthu ochulukirapo.
Siko mtukuona kuti ayi mkatimu zinthu zamba kuchitika mkatimu nduna afika ndithu kuti zonse titsate kuti zikuyenda bwanji mwachidule kwambiri. Philip Mijika, ntchito ya budget siyamasewera kuno mumva kuti matuluka kwambiri.
Ndi ntchito yayikulu kwambiri, ndi ntchito yayikulu kuti siutinso imachitika kuti ndi wiki ino yokha imene ikubwera
inamba pakanthawi.
Budget iyo ikangoyamba kugwira ntchito pa 1 April chaka chino ndiye kuti ayamba kale kuyiunika mwezi ndi mwezi, ayamba kale kupanga mmene chuma mmene akutolerera ndalama mmene spending ikuchitikira.
Inu ya Philip Mijika ndinu akutokomba za budget tiyankhulani kumapeto tifode veza mbiri zokhudza budget lowe ngati mutikamve tikuona kuti piano tsopano ngati
nyumba ya malamulo. A clerk a nyumba ya malamulo amafotokoza ndithu mayambidwe yake amene zichitikire, ndipo anduna zachuma ayimirira ndithu nkunena kuti ndifuna ndiyambepo kufotokoza za ndondomeko kapena dongosolo la zachuma chomwe boma ligwiritsa ntchito. Ndipo panopa ndikuona ndithu Sergeant at Arms anyamula buku limenelo kukalika pamalo pake pamene anduna akhale akufotokozera zonse.
Minister of Finance, do you wish to speak to your budget statement?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, sir. Today and now.
Please proceed.
Mmene mwamvera moto amawafunsa kuti kodi anduna mwakonzekadi kuti mufotokoze za ndondomeko za chuma, ndi avomera kuleko pano papitano pamene akawerengere akafotokozera zonse paja nthawi ineyi yonse tiwamva akufotokoza za dongosolo limeneli la zachuma.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to move that the estimates on the revenue, recurrent and development accounts for the year 2026-2027 budget be referred to the Committee of the Whole House to be considered vote by vote and thereafter be approved and adopted. Mr. Speaker, sir, in compliance with the Public Finance Management Act of 2022, Section 33, Subsection 3, I am mandated as the Minister responsible for Finance to present before this August House a statement of estimated government revenues and expenditure. I would like, therefore, Mr. Speaker, sir, to take this moment to express my sincere gratitude to our State President, Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika, for his unwavering commitment to embark on a journey of restoring country's macroeconomic stability and to rebuild the economy. Within the first 4 months of the Democratic Progressive Party administration, our president has demonstrated remarkable decisiveness and visionary leadership in protecting the most vulnerable Malawians. He has also instilled renewed confidence in our institutions and strengthened fiscal discipline. These seemingly difficult steps have set Malawi on a remarkable path towards economic recovery and prosperity. Furthermore, Mr. Speaker, sir, I would like to thank His Excellency the State President for entrusting me to continue carrying out this noble duty of being the Minister of Finance, Economic Planning and Decentralization among many capable professionals in the country. It is with sense of humility that I stand before you to present the 2026-2027 national budget. Mr. Speaker, sir, I wish to highlight that the formulation of this 2026-2027 budget has also been informed by input from the general public solicited during the national pre-budget consultations, which were conducted across the 3 regions of the country. I'm therefore particularly grateful to the participants drawn from the academia, youth groups, civil society, non-governmental organizations, faith-based organizations, the private sector, professional bodies, development partners, parliamentary committees, and other interested groups. Their constructive engagement and valuable contribution remain a cornerstone of sound and inclusive public finance management. With this input, Mr. Speaker, sir, it is with great honor and privilege that I deliver the first budget since the DPP administration returned to power in October 2025. DPP came to government at a time when our economy was facing multiple challenges. When the DPP administration took over government, economic growth had stagnated, inflation was too high, foreign exchange reserves were below 2 weeks of import cover, while fiscal deficit and public debt were at unacceptable levels. This situation exerted a heavy burden on households, businesses, and government. It is for this reason that the government embarked on a number of interventions and reforms to restore macroeconomic stability. Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm pleased to report that there are many positive signals, such as stable supply of fuel, reduced inflation and interest rates, including reduction in prices of selected commodities. It is against this background, Mr. Speaker, sir, that the 2026-2027 budget has been framed and formulated under the theme driving economic recovery and sustainable growth through impactful reforms and fiscal consolidation. This reflects our commitment to restore macroeconomic stability, rebuild confidence, and lay the foundation for inclusive and resilient growth. The 2026-2027 budget provides the fiscal content to this theme and creates an opportunity for the new administration to strategically articulate its policy direction and implement its commitments. I am pleased to report that the budget I'm presenting before you, Mr. Speaker, sir, it is people-centered, it is pro-poor, it is developmental, as well as transformative. In view of this theme, Mr. Speaker, sir, our immediate priority is macroeconomic stabilization. Let me emphasize from the onset, Mr. Speaker, sir, that this administration is geared to pursue prudent fiscal policies aimed at reducing the budget deficit and consequently budget debt stock. As such, government will strengthen domestic revenue mobilization efforts, including broadening the tax base, enhancing compliance, and modernizing tax administration while protecting low-income households and productive sectors. On the expenditure side, Mr. Speaker, sir, government will continue to implement austerity measures to eliminate waste, reduce non-essential spending, and improve efficiency in public service delivery. Resources will be redirected towards high economic impact sectors that drive productivity, create jobs, promote and support growth. In the same vein, Mr. Speaker, sir, I would also like to unveil the National Economic Recovery Plan, NEP, whose overarching objective is to restore macroeconomic stability and promote inclusive growth through investment in key productive sectors of agriculture, tourism, mining, manufacturing, and small and medium enterprises. This plan is aligned with the DPP manifesto and the Malawi 2063 First 10-Year Implementation Plan, MIP 1. Mr. Speaker, sir, let me now provide the context of the economic environment we are operating in at global, regional, and national levels. Thereafter, I will present the performance of the 2025-2026 fiscal year and the progress made on the reforms and measures announced during the 2025-2026 mid-year budget. This will be followed by the macroeconomic assumptions, key overarching policy objectives, and the reforms that will anchor the revenue and expenditure estimates of the 2026-2027 budget. Lastly, I will present the public sector reforms that will support the upcoming budget. Mr. Speaker, sir, let me now turn to the world, regional, and national economic outlook. Mr. Speaker, sir, you all appreciate that our economy does not operate in isolation, but it is driven by global and regional developments. Allow me, therefore, to present the global, regional, and domestic economic developments to this August House. World Economic Outlook. Mr. Speaker, sir, the January 2026 World Economic Outlook, WEO, report by the International Monetary Fund states that the global economy is expected to remain steady amidst divergent forces. Economic growth is expected to remain steady at 3.3% in 2025 and 2026, declining marginally to 3.2% in 2027. On the other hand, global inflation is projected to continue its decline, with headline inflation falling from 4.1% in 2025 to 3.8% in 2026 and 3.4% in 2027. Regional economic outlook. Regional economic outlook. Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, economic growth in sub-Saharan region is projected to accelerate, rise in 2025 to 4.6% in 2026 and 2027. Their growth is expected to be driven by ongoing macroeconomic stabilization and reform efforts in larger economies alongside investment to support growth. Across the sub-Saharan region, many countries are also undertaking fiscal consolidation measures to recover from aid withdrawals, reduction in official development assistance, ODA, and elevated public debt levels and constrained fiscal space. Domestic economic developments. Economic growth. Mr. Speaker, sir, the country's economic outlook remains positive, with growth projections maintained at the levels announced in the November 2025 mid-year budget statement. Real GDP growth is projected to increase from 2.7% in 2025 to 3.8% in 2026. And it will strengthen further to 4.9% in 2027. This growth will be supported by strategic investment in key productive sectors of agriculture, tourism, mining, manufacturing, and small and medium enterprises. And special focus will be put on increased production and value addition, export diversification, and import substitution. Inflation. Mr. Speaker, sir, inflation has remained elevated from 2021, largely due to food and foreign exchange supply constraints. The annual inflation has now declined from 32.3% in 2024 to 28.5% in 2025, and it has also reduced further to 24%. Moving forward, Mr. Speaker, sir, inflation is projected. Moving forward, Mr. Speaker, sir, inflation is projected to take a downward trajectory to 15% by the end of 2026-2027 financial year. Mr. Speaker, sir, this signals a gradual restoration of macroeconomic stability. Money supply. Money supply. Money supply. With regards to money supply, Mr. Speaker, sir, annual growth rate of broad money remains a concern as it stands at 44.9% in December 2025, and private sector credit growth exceeded 40% in 2025, as well as well above the 25% that was recorded in 2024. As highlighted above, Mr. Speaker, sir, inflation in 2025 remained elevated above the medium-term target, largely due to persistent supply-side constraints. Accordingly, the Reserve Bank of Malawi maintained a tight monetary policy stance to tame inflation. These measures, coupled with the importation of maize from Zambia, contributed to lower inflation outcomes in 2025 compared to 2024. Foreign exchange developments. Mr. Speaker, sir, the subdued economic growth in 2025 resulted in low exports, while imports increased sharply, thereby aggravating external sector imbalances. In 2025, the trade deficit was estimated at about $2 billion, reflecting import growth that continued to outpace export earnings. Looking ahead, Mr. Speaker, sir, the trade deficit is expected to narrow as productivity enhancing initiatives to boost export capacity take shape while simultaneously enhancing import substitution. It is worth noting, Mr. Speaker, sir, the Malawi kwacha depreciated against most major trading partner currencies in 2025 due to excess demand for foreign exchange and limited supply. The ongoing initiatives to enhance foreign exchange generation are expected to support the stability of the kwacha and also mitigate further depreciation pressures. Public debt. Mr. Speaker, sir, Malawi's growth path towards managing public debt is constrained by the current stock levels, which stand at 23.9 trillion. Which is 90.9% of GDP as of December 2025. Of this amount, 75% is domestic debt, translating to 16 trillion. The high level of debt is on account of the high level of debt is on account of legacy domestic borrowing. The debt stock remains worrisome and unsustainable, posing heightened risks to macroeconomic stability. You may wish to appreciate that this debt is exerting a lot of pressure on the country's fiscal space. 2025-2026 budget performance. Mr. Speaker, sir, allow me to briefly highlight the performance of the 2025-2026 budget.
We have guests in the gallery. We have diplomats. Can we show some maturity, please? Both sides. Both sides. Order. Order. Order.
Revenue performance. Mr. Speaker, sir, revenue and grants for the 2025-2026 financial year are estimated at 5.528 trillion to the end of the year, compared to the mid-year revised projection of 5.461 trillion, translating to an overperformance of 1.2%. Domestic revenue is estimated at 4.545 trillion, against the mid-year revised figure of 4.478 trillion, thereby representing a 1.5% overperformance. This rebound, Mr. Speaker, sir, in revenue performance is attributed to the policy measures that were introduced during the mid-year budget review. Tax and non-tax revenue. To the end of the year, tax revenue is estimated at 4.392 trillion, compared to the mid-year revised estimate of 4.328 trillion, while non-tax revenue is estimated at 149.5 billion. However, the likely outturn for tax revenue during the period is estimated at 4.392 trillion, reflecting a slight overperformance of 1.5%, while non-tax revenue is estimated at 153.6 billion, representing an overperformance of 2.7%. For the fourth quarter of the financial year, tax revenue is projected at 1.214 trillion against a quarterly projection of 1.125 trillion, again translating to a 7.9% overperformance. This performance is attributed to the measures that I announced during the mid-year budget review, including the adjustment in value-added tax and the pay-as-you-earn. Grants. Mr. Speaker, sir, total revised provision for grants from foreign governments and international organizations in the 2025-2026 financial year is maintained at the mid-year revised figure of 983 billion. Total expenditure. Mr. Speaker, sir, total mid-year revised expenditure provision for the 2025-2026 financial year is estimated at 8.589 trillion and is expected to close at 8.431 trillion, representing an under expenditure, or I should say an improvement of 1.8% on account of implementation of expenditure control measures. And this performance and the underperformance in the project implementation that was also introduced during the mid-year budget review. This expenditure comprises of 6.668 trillion in recurrent expenditure and 1.763 trillion is estimated to close at 1.691 trillion, and public debt payments at 2.328 trillion, and use of goods and services at 1.450 trillion, grants to other government units at 545.2 billion, social benefits at 607.7 billion, and other expenses at 45.7 billion. Fiscal deficit. Mr. Speaker, sir, the fiscal deficit for the 2025-2026 financial year is estimated at 2.903 trillion, which is a slight drop from the revised mid-year projection of 3.128 trillion, representing a 7.2% reduction in fiscal deficit. This drop, Mr. Speaker, sir, is as a result of the decrease in expenditure coupled with an increase in revenue. Progress on the 2025-2026 mid-year budget review reforms. Mr. Speaker, sir, I now wish to report that the reform measures announced during the mid-year budget review statement were not merely a policy pronouncement, but have been translated into concrete actions. Allow me to highlight some of the achievements made to date. Food situation. Mr. Speaker, sir, the 2025 National Food Balance Sheet revealed that the country's maize supply was estimated at 2.7 million metric tons, against a national requirement of 3.72 metric tons, resulting in a deficit of 1.02 million metric tons. Mr. Speaker, sir, as at February 2026, the strategic grain reserves stand at 81,576.75 metric tons, representing a nation's maize stocks held for food security and market stabilization purposes. To date, the government has successfully procured, or should say, delivered to NFRA about 58,029 metric tons out of the 103 tons that we have bought from Zambia, and this comprises 42,200 metric tons imported from Zambia and 15,829 metric tons sourced from local farmers. Mr. Speaker, sir, I would like to report that the maize market has seen significant reduction in prices. Where a 50 kg bag is now selling between 38 and 48 from around 100,000. Thereby enhancing affordability and access to Malawians even during the rain period. And this has averted the hunger situation in the country. Mr. Speaker, sir, allow me to report to this August House that the promise that Kutamoyo, Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika made to Malawians that no one should die of hunger and that no one should die of eating kiteze or nyiga has been achieved. Mr. Speaker, sir, our President delivers what he promises, and he promises what he can deliver. Farm Input Subsidy Program facing. Mr. Speaker, sir, the government successfully increased the number of beneficiaries under Farm Input Subsidy Program from 528,000 to 1,100,000 households. As we speak, Mr. Speaker, sir, over 75% of the targeted beneficiaries under this year's visit have successfully redeemed their inputs, despite the delay in the start of the program following the September 2025 general election, compared to 45% same time last year. This signals a marked significant progress in the management of facing pension arrears and gratuities. Mr. Speaker, sir, government has made substantial progress in reducing normal and deaf gratuities for retired and deceased civil servants, respectively, following an additional 196 billion approved in the 2025-2026 immediate budget. As a result, it is expected that by end of March 2026, about 11,000 retirees will receive their terminal benefit, representing approximately 92% from the NDA target of 12,000. This means, Mr. Speaker, sir, the waiting period for pensions and gratuities will be substantially reduced to 3 months from the previous average of 36 months. Mr. Speaker, sir, we all know that our pensioners were suffering. They were turned into beggars. But Professor Peter Mutharika made sure that we have to provide the resources so that they are paid in good time. Mr. Speaker, sir, now let me turn to free public primary and secondary school education. Mr. Speaker, sir, this administration of Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika has introduced free public primary and secondary school effective 1st January 2026. As a result of this transformative reform, parents and guardians are not paying general purpose, money and identity card fees in public primary schools. In addition, parents and guardians are not paying development fees, tuition fees, and multiple fees in public secondary schools. This reform has significantly increased enrollment levels and it is expected to reduce school dropout rates, thereby increasing human capital development for the nation. Resuscitation of the automatic pricing mechanism, APM. Mr. Speaker, sir, government has resuscitated the use of automatic pricing mechanism for fuel to ensure cost-reflective fuel pump prices and reduce losses incurred by fuel importers and the Price Stabilization Fund. As a result, there is increased availability and accessibility of fuel in the country, and that there are no fuel queues, as has been the case the past few years. Revenue measures. Mr. Speaker, sir, government has commenced implementation of the revenue measures announced in the 2025-2026 immediate budget statement. I am pleased to report that the VAT adjustments, levy on transaction and pay are in full effect. In this regard, Mr. Speaker, sir, I wish to clarify that withholding tax on rental income is not a new tax. It has long existed under the fourth schedule of the Taxation Act. As such, the mid-year budget announcement was just intended to strengthen enforcement by the Malawi Revenue Authority. I therefore call upon all Malawians to support this initiative as part of our efforts to restore the Malawian economy. Expenditure control measures. Mr. Speaker, sir, a number of expenditure control measures and reforms were introduced in the 2025-2026 mid-year budget review. This was done to reduce expenditure on travel-related budget lines and the fiscal deficit. I therefore would like to report that to the end of this fiscal year, expenditure is projected to go down by about 158 billion. Key achievements in the 2025-2026 fiscal year. Agriculture, tourism and mining. Mr. Speaker, sir, in the agriculture sector, government has registered significant progress in irrigation developments under the Shire Valley Transformation Project, including expansion of irrigation schemes covering 4,194 hectares. In addition, matching grants were provided to farmers' cooperatives under Agriculture Commercialization Agricom and the Malawi Watershed Services Improvement Project. In the tourism sector, Mr. Speaker, sir, government revised the 1968 Tourism Act and facilitated the establishment of the Malawi Tourism Authority. This was complemented by continued implementation of the National Tourism Investment Master Plan. The plan comprises of 103 projects focusing on strategic infrastructure developments across the country in order to boost the sector. Mr. Speaker, sir, in the mining sector, key achievements include the recommissioning of Kairekera uranium mine in Karonga under a new mining development agreement with Lotus Resources Limited. Government is also developing mining regulations to operationalize the raw mineral export ban, and targeted research was undertaken on agro-minerals, industrial minerals, and offshore oil and gas exploration in partnership with Press Trust Malawi and Africa Fortesa Limited. Mr. Speaker, sir, in the transport sector, government has strengthened connectivity by significantly progressing works on the M1 road between Lilongwe and Chiweta, with 155 kilometers surfaced and opened to traffic. In addition, government has also constructed 30 kilometers of the Lakeshore Road and has also completed key city roads to improve traffic flow and safety. Furthermore, government has also completed the rehabilitation of Nkaya Kanengo railway section, which has enabled resumption of the train services. Mr. Speaker, sir, in the energy sector, government has also significantly expanded the electricity access across the country. Through Malawi Rural Electrification Program, MAREP, and the Malawi Electricity Access Project, MEP, over 186,000 households have been connected to power. In addition, a 60 kilowatt peak solar-powered mini-grid has been commissioned at Mwansambo in Ncheu district, further advancing inclusive and sustainable energy access. Mr. Speaker, sir, negotiation for financing of Mpatamanga hydro power project are at an advanced stage. Mr. Speaker, sir, to enhance local governance and ensure people-centered development, government has completed over 700 development projects under the World Bank-funded Governance to Enable Service Delivery Project, GESID, in key sectors such as health, education, and agriculture over the past few years. In addition, through government financing, the Choro District Council office has been completed, while works on Imberwa and Nzuzu civic offices are at an advanced stage. Further, 24 traditional authority houses have been completed, with 31 more currently under construction. The health sector. Mr. Speaker, sir, despite the reduction in donor funding for the health sector, government recruited 5,992 health workers and promoted 898 health workers. Out of these, 4,250 were recruited with support from the Global Fund, and 1,742 workers with support from government. In addition, Mr. Speaker, sir, government also completed the following projects in the health sector. 1, construction of radiotherapy bunkers at the National Cancer Center, and the completion of infectious disease unit at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital, the pediatric eye clinic at the Nzuzu Central Hospital, and the construction of Kwisa and the Chiponde health centers in Baraka and Lilongwe, respectively. Education. Mr. Speaker, sir, government has made notable progress in the education sector, including the completion of 2,150 classrooms and 321 sanitary blocks to improve learning conditions. Progress has also been registered in a number of projects in the public universities, including the construction of a 400 student capacity training facility for tourism and the hospitality management at Nzuzu University and the University of Malawi Administration Complex. Let me now move, Mr. Speaker, sir, to the 2026-2027 year budget. Mr. Speaker, sir, allow me to outline the macroeconomic assumption underlying the 2026-2027 budget. Mr. Speaker, sir, the following are the macroeconomic assumptions that have been used in formulating the 2026-2027 proposed nation budget.
Drink water. Take time. You have got all the time. Yes.
The macroeconomic assumptions are as follows: fiscalized GDP growth rate of 4.1%, NDA inflation, NDA for the 2026-2027 at 15%, nominal GDP of 31.5 trillion, and a policy rate of 18% from the Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm also on to report that our assumption for this budget on policy rate is at 18% compared to the current 26%. Key policy objectives of the the key policy objectives of the 2026-2027 budget. Mr. Speaker, sir, the 2026-2027 budget estimates have been formulated on the basis of the following key policy objectives. 1, to reduce fiscal deficit from the 11.9% to about 9% of GDP, consequently reducing government borrowing and debt. This will be achieved by implementing revenue enhancement and expenditure control measures. 2, to create fiscal space through debt restructuring. 3, to prioritize allocation of resources to key productive sectors of the economy, such as agriculture, tourism, mining, manufacturing, and small and medium enterprises. 4, to enhance export promotion and import substitution strategies so as to improve generation of foreign exchange and boosting the country's balance of payments position. 5, to undertake accelerated fiscal decentralization by providing significant resources to local councils through the reformed Constituency Development Fund. And lastly, number 6, to strengthen fiscal discipline through performance-based disbursement of resources for projects and all key government programs. Total revenue and grants. Mr. Speaker, sir, the total revenue and grants are expected at 8.126 trillion, which is 25.8% of GDP, and this represents an increase of revenue of 48.8% from the 2025-26 revised figure of 5.461 trillion, and the domestic revenue is projected at 6.454 trillion, which is 20.5% of GDP. Mr. Speaker, sir, this represents an increase of 44.1% from the 2021 and 2025-2026 mid-year divided figure of 4.478. This is on account of revenue enhancement measures coupled with automation of non-tax revenues and the revision of user fees and charges. Mr. Speaker, sir, tax revenue is also estimated at 6.203 trillion, which is 19.7% of GDP, representing an increase of 43.3% from the 2025-2026 mid-year revised figure of 4.328 trillion. This growth is largely on account of revenue enhancement measures introduced at the mid-year. Specifically, growth is expected mainly in the taxes on income and profits, taxation on goods and services, and taxes on international trade. Non-tax revenue is also projected at 250.5 billion, representing an increase of 67.6% from the mid-year revised figure of 149.5 billion. Mr. Speaker, sir, this is on account of review of user fees and charges, automation, and the expected increase in dividend and surpluses. Mr. Speaker, sir, grants from international organizations and foreign governments are projected at 1.672 trillion, representing an increase of 70.1% from the current 2025-2026 revised figure of 983 billion. This increase is mainly on account of projected disbursements from the international organizations. Total expenditure for the year 2026-2027. Mr. Speaker, sir, The 2026-2027 total expenditure is estimated at 10.978 trillion, which is 34% of GDP, representing an increase of 27.8% from the 2025-2026 immediate revised figure of 8.589 trillion. This increase, Mr. Speaker, sir, emanates from the legacy commitment of the previous regime, statutory expenditures and development expenditures. This notwithstanding, the expected deficit in GDP ratio will improve to 9% from the 11% in the 2025-2026 budget. Mr. Speaker, sir, total expenditure comprises of 7.581 trillion recurrent expenditure and 3.397 trillion development expenditure, representing 69.1% and 30.9% respectively. Within the recurrent expenditure, total statutory expenditure consisting of wages and salaries, public debt, interest, pensions and gratuities, and other statutory expenses is projected at 5.092 trillion. And this represents 78.9% of domestic revenues, which is a drop from 97.5% in 2025-2026 financial year. Key highlights for the 2026-2027 budget. Wages and salaries. Mr. Speaker, sir, wages and salaries are projected to increase to 1.923 trillion from the 2025 immediate revised figure of 1.631 trillion, translating to an increase of 288 billion. This increase, Mr. Speaker, sir, has taken into account the current personnel on the ground, salary adjustments, and prioritized recruitments in key sectors like education and health. Pension and gratuities. Mr. Speaker, sir, pension and gratuities have been allocated 296 billion in the 2026-2027 budget. This provision will ensure that pensioners are paid timely on a monthly basis, and the backlog of payments for gratuities continues to drastically reduce. Mr. Speaker, sir, this government is, as I've said earlier, this government is targeting to reducing the waiting period for receiving gratuities to at least 3 months. Public debt interest. Mr. Speaker, sir, public debt interest is projected at 2.793 trillion, representing an increase of 22.9% from the 2025-2026 mid-year revised figure of 2.272 trillion, largely on account of past commitments. And with the ongoing external and domestic debt restructuring, the government expects further reduction in the public interest payments. Use of goods and services, ORT. Mr. Speaker, sir, use of goods and services is projected at 1.503 trillion, representing a reduction of 0.3% from 2025-2026 mid-year revised provision of 1.50 trillion. This is mainly on account of one-off expenditure on tripartite elections, logistics for the procurement of maize from Zambia, and reallocation of irrigation and development resources from other recurrent transactions to the development budget. Grants to other general government units. Mr. Speaker, sir, the total allocation for grants to other general government units stands at 8.67.8 billion, representing an increase of 59.9% from the 2025-2026 media revised provision of 542.8 billion. This increase is mainly on account of the resumption of the road levy remittances to Road Fund Administration, transfers to Malawi Revenue Authority based on upward adjustment of revenue projection, and transfers to subvented organizations, including public universities. Mr. Speaker, sir, one of the allocations within subvented organization is 4 billion under the Small and Medium Enterprise Development Corporation for the expansion of local production of uniforms for security institutions such as boots to reduce demand for foreign exchange. Mr. Speaker, sir, it is worth noting that other strategic allocations under the subvented organization are as follows: 2 billion for the Youth Innovation Fund under the National Youth Council of Malawi, the 1.1 billion for assembling laptops and tablets under the Malawi University of Science and Technology, and 3 billion for the agriculture machinery production under the Malawi University of Business and Applied Sciences. Now let me turn to key allocations and development projects. Allocation to agriculture, tourism, mining, and manufacturing, the 4 key sectors. Mr. Speaker, sir, government continues to prioritize these key productive sectors of agriculture, tourism, mining, and manufacturing because of their potential to stimulate socio-economic growth and the development of the country. Mr. Speaker, sir, the 2026-2027 budget has allocated a total of 1.334 trillion towards these key sectors, representing 12.2% of the total budget. Agriculture sector. Mr. Speaker, sir, resources amounting to 931.1 billion have been allocated to this sector in the 2026-2027 budget. Of this amount, 111.45 billion is earmarked for fertilizer input subsidy program for the 2026-2027 growing season. In order to reduce the price of seed, Mr. Speaker, sir, and also to save foreign exchange and increase availability, 11.3 billion has been allocated for maize seed to be produced and purchased locally. Mr. Speaker, sir, it is the intention of government to ensure that the strategic grain reserves are replenished to the full capacity to achieve national food self-sufficiency. In this regard, 60 billion has been allocated in the 2026-27 budget for maize purchases. This allocation is over and above the 103,000 metric tons that has been bought from Zambia. In addition, resources amounting to 60 billion also be allocated to ADIMAC for the purchase of commercial maize and other crops. Furthermore, an allocation of 26.7 billion has also been provided for the contract farming activities. Mr. Speaker, sir, to reduce the country's overdependence on rain-fed agriculture, resources amounting to 40 billion have been allocated for the National Irrigation Development Program. This is complementary to other initiatives, including the Shire Valley Transformation Project and Program for Rural Irrigation Development, with allocations of 241.1 billion and 3 billion, respectively. Mr. Speaker, sir, an allocation of 14 billion has also been made to various mega farmers' initiatives currently being undertaken by Malawi Prison Services, Lilongwe University of Agriculture and Natural Resources, Department of Fisheries, and the Malawi Defense Force. It is therefore pleasing to note that the Mega Farm Initiative is going to diversify to include aquaculture mega farms that has been allocated resources amounting to 3 billion. This is a deliberate effort by government to boost fish production, both for local consumption and also for exports. Mr. Speaker, sir, other notable allocations under this sector are as follows. 18.1 billion for mega farms, coordinating unit. This is for the mega farms, not Angono Angon. And an allocation of 2.68 billion for National Food Reserve Agency operations and rehabilitation of silos, 1 billion for promotion of mechanized farm operations through hiring centers, and 2.5 billion for livestock infrastructure development for sustainable animal health, production and marketing, tourism and manufacturing sector. Mr. Speaker, sir, 51.2 billion has been allocated to this sector in the year 2026-2027 budget. And of this amount, 7.4 billion for the establishment of special economic zones under the Malawi Investment and Trade Center, MITC. And of this amount, 6.4 billion is for completion of Chigumula site, and 1 billion is earmarked to kickstart works for Magwero, Malindi, and Dunduzu industrial parks. 5.4 billion has been allocated for industrial development, establishment of commodity exchange, market, and small-scale business development. 2.7 billion has also been allocated for the wildlife management and conservation. 4.6 billion for international tourism promotion, product development in Kasungu National Park, and development of public benches along with the shores of Lake Malawi. And 500 million has been allocated to facilitate designs and other preparatory works for Salima Integrated Tourism Resort, and it is government's plan to use resources under the CDF for the construction of the Likoma Activity Center. Energy and mining sector. Mr. Speaker, sir, in order to harness the potential of the mining industry and to create employment, earn foreign exchange, and develop infrastructure, a total of 352 billion has been allocated towards energy and mining sector. Mr. Speaker, sir, as you are aware, government established the Malawi Mining Company, MAMICO, whose mandate is to promote optimal development of the mining sector and maximize national revenue generation. This institution has been allocated resources amounting to 17 billion to kickstart their operations. Mr. Speaker, sir, with regard to the regulation of the sector, government established the Mining and the Minerals Regulatory Authority, and an allocation of 5.6 billion has been provided to the authority to regulate mining industry and create an enabling environment for the sector to thrive. In addition, a total of 3.67 billion has also been allocated to geological services and mining services under the Ministry of Energy and Mining. Mr. Speaker, sir, in light of the fact that mining activities require a lot of energy, there are several interventions that government is pursuing in the energy sector to promote mining in particular and other economic activities in general. To this effect, a total of 219.8 billion has been allocated towards the energy sector in the 2026-2027 budget. Transport and ICT infrastructure. Mr. Speaker, sir, now let me turn to the transport and ICT infrastructure sector. This has been allocated 664.4 billion in the 2026-2027 budget. These resources are both for operations and development projects in the sector, consisting of the Ministry of Transport and Public Works, Road Fund Administration, Road Authority, and the Ministry of Information and Communication Technology. Mr. Speaker, sir, with regards to the roads subsector, the policy continues to focus on completing the existing projects before contracting new ones. I'm also pleased to inform the August House that with the resumption of remittances for the road levy to the Road Fund Administration, it is expected that a lot of maintenance works on our roads will be done seamlessly. Mr. Speaker, sir, some of the notable projects under the sector include rehabilitation of M5 from Kapantenga, Mbenga, Dwangwa Road, continuation and rehabilitation works on a section of the M1 road from Kia Turnoff, Zimba Turnoff, Kacheche to Chiweta. The rehabilitation of Nsipeliwonde Zomba Road, the rehabilitation of Masasa Goromoti Monkey Bay Turnoff Road, rehabilitation of Mangochi Monkey Bay Cape Maclear Road. In addition, Mr. Speaker, sir, the following roads and bridges will be upgraded and rehabilitated. We have the Lirangwe, Chipini, Namatunu Machinga Road, Ncheu Sangano Neno Mwanza Road, Chimwanza Nambuma Road, Urumpi Nyiga Turnoff to Chitipa, Gerat to Chikwawa Boma Road, Mwanga to Chitekesa Zanjo Road, Katuli Idris Road, Chilinga Swamuma Road, Migowi Paloni Swangoma Road, Lilongwe City Bypass, that's Kaunda and Chendawaka, Mangochi Makanjira Road, Mangochi Chitipa Ilomba Road, Karonga Songwe Road, Bezaboma Loop Road, Tuchira Bridge, and Nsanamanayuchi Road. Mr. Speaker, sir, I wish to highlight. Mr. Speaker, I need protection, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, I wish to highlight that the above list is not exhaustive. I would like, therefore, to refer the August House to document number 6. So please, I want to take note of this. Document number 6 for more details of the portfolio of roads and bridges that will be constructed. It was impossible, Mr. Speaker, sir, to outline all the roads that we're going to do in this. Let me move to aviation and rail. Mr. Speaker, sir, in the 2026-2027 fiscal year, government will rehabilitate the Bakiri Muluzi Airport, Kamuzu International Airport, and carry out preparatory works and designs for the new Nzuzu Airport. We are also going to expedite the signing of a memorandum of understanding for the Nakala Rail Corridor. We are also going to carry out advanced works for the Kanengo-Nchinji railway line and also commence feasibility and designs for rail expansion from the central to the northern region. And I'm also pleased to report to this August House that the Chinese government has expressed interest to finance this project. They want the railway line to start from Central Region up to Chirumba because they want to open up the Northern Corridor. Marine and water transport. Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, in the 2026-2027 financial year, this government will complete construction of the Likoma port and rehabilitate and upgrade the Chipoka port as well. Allocation to social sectors. Allocation to social sectors. Mr. Speaker, sir, investing in human capital development is critical for socio-economic growth and transformation of our country. A healthy and skilled workforce is more productive and efficient, thereby positively contributing to the growth, development, and resilience of the economy. It is for this reason, Mr. Speaker, sir, that a total of allocation of 2.7 trillion has been provided towards the human capital development pillar of MIP1 or MIP1, education and skills development. Mr. Speaker, sir, a total of 1.28 trillion has been allocated to the education sector, representing 11.7% of the total budget. To increase equitable access to education and provide a fair chance to access knowledge to all the peoples regardless of their socio-economic background. Government introduced free primary education, as I've said, and secondary school, effective 1st January 2026, as alluded to above. Mr. Speaker, sir, the 2026-2027 budget has therefore refinanced resources amounting to 47.6 billion for this purpose. Of this amount, 31.7 billion is for free secondary school education, to cater for development fees, and 15.9 billion. Let me take this again. 15.9 billion is for free primary education to cater for general purpose fees, as well as money fees. Mr. Speaker, sir, a total of 11.3 billion has also been allocated to the budget to cater for free examination and students adhering to the cards. Mr. Speaker, sir, an allocation of 11 billion has been provided for teaching and learning materials in both primary and secondary schools. This represents 122% increase from the 2025-2026 revised provision of 4.96 billion. In addition, a total of 45.7 billion has been allocated to the operations of secondary schools and teacher training colleges in the amounts of 31.4 billion and 14.3 billion respectively. Mr. Speaker, sir, I also wish to report to this August House that government has allocated resources amounting to 234.3 billion to the country's 6 public universities. These resources are broken down as follows: 171.97 billion for operations, 45.2 billion for development projects, and 17.1 billion for repayment of service gratuity loans. It is government's intention that public universities should not predominantly rely on government subvention. To this effect, Mr. Speaker, sir, after thorough consultation with various stakeholders, students with capacity to pay and those coming from private secondary school who are capable to pay will be required to pay cost-reflective fees, so that students' loan subsidies should only be provided to those who can afford, who cannot afford. I think I need to take this because it's very important. To this effect, after thorough consultation with stakeholders, students with capacity to pay will be required to pay cost-reflective fees, so that students' loan subsidies should only be provided to those who cannot afford. To achieve this, all university management are directed to categorize those students who can afford from those who can afford from those who cannot. Mr. Speaker, sir, the 2026-2027 budget has also set aside amounting to 42 billion. Mr. Speaker, sir, I need protection from the front row here.
Please control your front line.
Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir.
Order.
Mr. Speaker, sir, the 2026-2027 budget has also set aside resources amounting to 42 billion for students' loans and upkeep allowances to cater for 40,000 students in public universities, as announced in the SONA by His Excellency the President, Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika. Mr. Speaker, sir, to provide the requisite job skills and make our graduates employable and ready and competent for absorption into the job market, there is a provision of 4.5 billion for graduate internship program. Additionally, resources amounting to 3 billion have also been allocated to prioritize completion of community technical colleges. Health sector. Mr. Speaker, sir, a total of 1.02 trillion has been allocated to the health sector, representing 9.2% of the total budget. Of this amount, 108.3 billion has been set aside for procurement of medicines and medical supplies, representing a 13.1% increase from the 2025-2026 revised provision of 95.8 billion. This allocation is in the amounts of 58.3 billion and 50 billion for central hospitals and district hospitals, respectively. And this allocation, Mr. Speaker, sir, is an addition to the support that we're also receiving from donor partners. What I'm reporting here is what government will spend, but there are more resources that are coming from donor partners. Mr. Speaker, sir, as you are aware, central and district hospitals, or Central Medical Stores Trust, CMST, outstanding payments for the medicines and the medical supplies drawn down from the trust in the previous financial years. Government has therefore allocated 20 billion as part payment of these arrears. This will ensure consistent supply of medicines in our hospitals. Mr. Speaker, sir, a total of 65.7 billion has been allocated for operations of the central hospitals and the procurement and the maintenance of medical equipment in these hospitals. This represents an increase of 34.4% from the 2025-2026 revised provision of 48.9 billion. Mr. Speaker, sir, resources amounting to 25.3 billion have been earmarked for the operations of these hospitals. This represents a 10% increase from the previous 2025-2026 revised amount of 23 billion. Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm also pleased to report that the Malawi government has secured financing amounting to 744 million from the government of the United States of America. These resources are aimed at strengthening health systems and combating TB, malaria, HIV, and AIDS, and other infectious diseases. Mr. Speaker, sir, in order to address the challenges in renal ailments and treatment, 3 billion has been allocated for the establishment of dialysis centers. And this will be done in a phased approach, starting from Mzuzu Central Hospitals. And other notable allocations in the sector include 11 billion for blood transfusion services, of which 5 billion is for central hospitals and 6 billion is for district hospitals. 3 billion for referral medical cases abroad, 1 billion for procurement of ambulances, and 1 billion for ART co-financing with the Global Fund. Mr. Speaker, sir, it is also evidently clear that there are a lot of areas that require financial support to achieve universal health coverage through improving access and quality of health care service to all Malawians. Mr. Speaker, sir, it is therefore important for government to come up with innovative means of mobilizing and pooling resources to this sector to strengthen its service delivery. In this regard, Mr. Speaker, sir, government has introduced paying wards in all the central and district hospitals so that people that can afford to pay for health care services should do so, thereby subsidizing those that are unable to pay. Mr. Speaker, sir, regarding health care infrastructure, government will commence construction of Blantyre and Chikwawa district hospitals in the year 2026-2027 financial year, with financing from both government and development partners. Social protection. Mr. Speaker, sir, government will continue to mitigate against the negative impact of economic downturn and price escalations on the poor and the vulnerable groups. In this regard, various interventions have been put in place to safeguard the underprivileged sections of the society, and some of these interventions are as follows. 1, distribution of relief means to households that have been severely affected by drought and hunger, consistent with the recent Malawi Vulnerability Assessment Committee report. 2, allocation of 7 billion for the social cash transfer program, representing an increase of 58.6% from the 2025-2026 revised provision of 4.4 billion. This has been done with the intention to progressively increase coverage to four additional districts, namely Mwanza, Neno, Chisi, and Nkhotakota, with collaboration from our development partners. And 3, allocation of 2 billion for the Disability Trust Fund. Out of this Disability Fund, 250 million has been earmarked for grants to persons with disabilities, and an additional 1 billion has been allocated to National Children's Commission to promote the rights and the welfare of children. Development expenditure. Mr. Speaker, sir, as I've outlined in the introductory remarks, that this budget, the 2026 budget, is for development. And we'll make sure that most of the resources that we collect, they need to go to development as opposed to consumption. Therefore, in the 2026-2027 budget, a total development expenditure is projected at 3.397 trillion, representing an increase of 76.4% from the total 2025-26 mid-year revised provision of 1.926 trillion. Out of this amount, Mr. Speaker, sir, 2.034 trillion is for foreign finance projects and 1.363 trillion is for domestic finance projects. Mr. Speaker, sir, the projected total development expenditure of the 3.397 trillion represents 30.9% of the total estimated expenditure. This is unprecedented. All this is because of Nkukuta Moyo, Professor Akabila Mkari. This is a significant improvement compared to the 2025-2026 budget, which had only allocated 20.9%. Mr. Speaker, sir, let me invite honorable members to refer to the budget document number 6 and all other budget documents that provide more details on these projects being implemented by the central government throughout the country. There are so many. Let me now go to the Reformed Constituency Development Fund. Mr. Speaker, sir, as this August House is aware, one of the key commitments of this administration is to provide people-centered and community-driven development through enhanced governance systems and performance-based financing. In fulfillment of this commitment, Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm pleased to inform the nation that starting from 1st April 2026, government will introduce the Reformed Constituency Development Fund with a total allocation of 1.145 trillion, translating to 5 billion per constituency. Mr. Speaker, sir, Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm aware that there are some doubting Thomases, but I want to assure you that the government of Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika, this will be done, and make sure that Malawians have to enjoy development in the rural areas. In view of this development, Mr. Speaker, sir, various projects that were initially implemented by the central ministries, departments and agencies, MDAs, have been devolved to the local councils. Consequently, the 2026-2027 budget for central MDAs will not reflect in the allocation to these projects. However, it must be noted, Mr. Speaker, sir, that some of the projects will remain with central government solely for the purpose of clearing outstanding certificates that have already been submitted to my ministry. Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm pleased to inform the August House that the can I still be protected, Mr. Speaker, sir?
You are protected, sir.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm pleased to inform this August House that CDF guidelines are almost finalized, and that final consultation Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir.
Let us hear the Minister of Finance in silence.
Mr. Speaker, sir.
You keep walking around. And I don't think your own members appreciate you walking in front of them every now and then. Please limit your gallivanting. Thank you, Honorable Minister of Finance. Please continue.
I just wanted to say that these guidelines will be finalized soon, and we'll make sure that this August House, as soon as possible, I'm saying as soon as possible, that we together and finalize these guidelines, so that the aim of Professor Tam Tarika is that come 1st April, these guidelines have to be in place. Local currency bond finance projects. Please, it's very important. Local currency bond finance projects. Mr. Speaker, sir, considering that financing from the budget is constrained for a number of reasons, this government was to introduce innovative ways of raising money to do our development projects. Mr. Speaker, sir, in order to expedite completion of targeted projects on special financing instruments called the development bond, will be issued to allow some projects to draw resources for their ongoing works. A total of 78 billion is earmarked for the purpose of targeting the following. We have the construction of Mombela University, construction of 10,000 houses for security institutions, construction of Korongo multipurpose dam for Mponera town, construction and rehabilitation of Limbe Bangula Naka railway section, rehabilitation of Kampantenga Dwangwa road, finalization of Tabwa Mona Fatima road, upgrading of Chitipa Ilomba road as mentioned earlier, and also construction of Chisi Malumo road. Mr. Speaker, sir, the 2026-2027 fiscal budget is projected at 2.852 trillion, which is 9% of GDP. This is 8.8% improvement when compared to the 2025-2026 media revised fiscal deficit of 11.9%, confirming the new administration's commitment to fiscal consolidation and macroeconomic stability. Public sector reforms. Public finance management. Mr. Speaker, sir, in order to enhance efficiency and effectiveness of public procurement and disposal operations in all procurement and disposal entities, PDEs, the use of Malawi Electronic Procurement System, MANEPS, will be mandatory, effective 1st April 2026. As such, all government MDAs are requested to procure goods and services through this system. Mr. Speaker, sir, in order to evaluate the extent of public finance management systems, government will undertake public expenditure and financial accountability assessment, PEFA. The results of this assessment will inform the midterm review of public finance management reform strategy. Mr. Speaker, sir, in order to strengthen transparency and accountability in the use of public funds, government will establish audit committees in all ministries, departments and agencies in accordance with the Public Finance Management Act of 2022. The audit committees will oversee and provide advice on systems and practices for governance and risk management, compliance with the laws, policies and standards of ethical conduct, fraud prevention, and ensure recurring audit issues are addressed. Administrative measures. Mr. Speaker, sir, in order to achieve the 2026-2027 budget objectives, all the austerity measures announced by government in November 2025 will continue to be in force as follows. I'm repeating this because some people thought that by the end of the year it means everything was stopped. So the measures are as follows. Procurement of motor vehicles. Government has put a moratorium on procurement of new vehicles and high-value assets until further notice. 2, recruitments. Recruitments have been suspended, including non-established posts, until further notice. Recruitment in essential and critical government services will be considered. This is Minister of Health and Minister of Education. Promotions. Promotion of officers from grade F and below will require prior authority from Treasury and the Department of Human Resources Management and the Development. Let me take that again. Promotion of officers from grade F and below will require prior authority from Treasury and Department of Human Resources Management and Development, DHRMD, to verify availability of funds, and promotions made without this approval will be rendered invalid. Payroll. All controlling officers are being reminded to personally verify and approve all payroll submissions made to the Department of Human Resources Management and Development, DHRMD. Meetings. Ministries and departments and agencies, MDAs, are encouraged to hold physical meetings within their office premises and conduct virtual meetings, conferences, workshops, board meetings, interviews, shortlisting exercises, procurement negotiations, and any other activity in order to save resources on travel. External travel. External travel. Government will limit external travel and size of delegations to save foreign exchange. All controlling officers and senior management of state-owned enterprises shall seek approval for any external travel from the Chief Secretary, and in case of fully funded trips by development partners, there shall be no top-up allowances towards such travel. Procurement. Procurement. According to the Public Finance Management Act 2022, it is illegal to commit government where there are no resources. Accordingly, all MDAs will be required to procure goods and services based on the quarterly allotments provided by Treasury. Suppliers will be required to supply their goods and services only when they have received an IFNIS generated local purchase order, and all goods and services supplied without a system-generated LPO will not be paid by government. Extra-budgetary requests are not allowed and shall not be entertained by Treasury, except on special cases, and therefore MDA's expenditures will be restricted to the approved budget provision. Fuel entitlement. Fuel entitlement for public officers, including ministers, deputy ministers, and senior government officials, shall be reduced by 30%. Mineral contracts. Government will review all mining licenses and contracts. Any mining license which has been idle for more than 5 years shall be revoked. Staff in embassies. Government will reduce the number of embassies and staff, and each embassy shall not have more than 5 officials, including the ambassador and the High Commission. Mr. Speaker, sir, I wish also to reiterate that no MDA should enter into a contract seeking engineering, procurement, construction, that's EPC, and financial modeling services without the prior approval from the Minister of Finance, Economic Planning and Development. And further to this, I wish also to direct that no controlling officer, government officer, or chief executive officer should sign a contract binding government without prior scrutiny and written approval from Treasury. And also from the Ministry of Justice, Public Procurement and Disposal of Public Assets Authority, PBDA, and also Government Contracting Unit. No controlling officer, government officer, or chief executive should commit government through assignment of policies, agreements with banks, or any other financial institution on behalf of suppliers, contractors, or service providers. All projects and contracts must be executed within the agreed time frame and budget. No cost and time extension shall be allowed except on special cases where such extensions shall be at no cost to avoid budgetary overruns. Controlling officers and chief executive officers must ensure that relevant financial rules and regulations are strictly adhered to during project implementation, initiation, execution, and closure to avoid declaration of misprocurement and ineligible expenditures. And government guarantees and consents shall only be issued on special case and where there are no recourse to government resources. Let me repeat, government guarantees and consents shall only be issued on special cases and where there is no recourse to government resources. Mr. Speaker, sir, government has also put in place additional measures in order to contain expenditure as follows. Government will review the operations of the subvented organization and state-owned enterprises with a view to streamline their activities, merge or close them where deemed necessary. Security institutions shall be supported to produce various crops such as maize and legumes to supplement rational provision and thereby reducing on their expenses on food. Mr. Speaker, sir, to minimize demand on foreign exchange, the following measures will be pursued. Subscription to international organizations that various MDAs are affiliated to is being reviewed to ensure that only strategic organizations are prioritized and that encourage local production of uniforms for security institutions in order to boost local manufacturing and also to boost Buy Malawi. On monetary policy, Mr. Speaker, sir, government will work with financing institutions to bring down interest rates and to reduce the spread between the lending and deposit rates in order to allow the private sector to access credit at an affordable rate. Foreign exchange management. Mr. Speaker, sir, regarding foreign exchange management, government has put in place strict measures to safeguard foreign exchange and ensure that it is channeled to the formal system. To curb illegal externalization of forex, the bank, this is the Reserve Bank of Malawi, in collaboration with law enforcement agencies, including Malawi Revenue Authority, Financial Intelligence Authority, and the Fiscal Police, have stepped up investigation on suspicious transactions and prosecution of such cases. Mr. Speaker, sir, the bank will also regulate money transfer agencies and operators to mitigate foreign exchange leakage and prevent exchange rate exploitation. In addition, the licensing regime for authorized dealers has also been enhanced to a robust 2-year renewable license issued on the basis of strict compliance requirements. Other reforms, structured markets. Mr. Speaker, sir, government in the year 2026-2027 budget will establish a national market to provide structured and transparent markets for our key commodities. The commodity exchange will not only serve agriculture, it also apply to the mining sector and other strategic commodities. Repatriation of export process. Mr. Speaker, sir, foreign exchange regulations are currently under review to improve market functioning and supply. Strategic imports are prioritized to sustain production and essential services. The Reserve Bank of Malawi is closely monitoring repatriation of export process through enforcement of CD1 forms. Further, the mandatory repatriation period for export process has been reduced from 120 days to 90 days in order to enhance market liquidity. Revenue and administrative measures. Mr. Speaker, sir, the revenue policy and administrative measures I now present are now designed to strengthen domestic resource mobilization, protect local industries, promote import substitution, and enhance tax administration efficiency. Mr. Speaker, sir, my ministry had extensive engagements with the private sector representatives, professional bodies, civil society organizations, and development partners, and written submissions were also received from companies and private sector citizens proposing reforms to improve efficiency and fairness of our tax system. The contributions provided have enriched this budget. I therefore would like to thank all those that contributed their ideas towards the budget of these revenue measures. Tax measures for the 2026-2027 budget. Mr. Speaker, sir, the customs and excise tax measures that I am about to announce today will become effective midnight tonight. While the taxation and value-added tax measures will take effect from 1st April 2026, subject to the approval of the bills by this August House and subsequent assent by His Excellency the State President. Customs and excise tax measures. Customs and excise tax measures. Mr. Speaker, sir, recognizing the important role that community technical colleges play in equipping the youth in our rural areas with vocational and technical skills, government has removed import duties on taxes for essential teaching and learning equipment used specifically for technical colleges. These include sewing machines, plumbing tools, welding machines, and essential accessories, and also electrical installation tools. This measure will strengthen skills development and enhance youth employability and economic development. Mr. Speaker, sir, in a move to support persons with disabilities, government will remove taxes on supportive devices and equipment that covers all forms of disabilities. These include motor vehicles specially adapted for persons with disabilities, prosthetic limbs, hearing aids, and other specialized support equipment. This measure promotes inclusivity and equal participation in economic and social activities.
How could you tax the disabled?
Mr. Speaker, sir.
Taxing the disabled like that.
Mr. Speaker, sir, government had previously issued a moratorium on motor vehicle clearance, allowing Kabaza operators to pay reduced import taxes to clear their motorcycles with Malawi Revenue Authority and register them with the Directorate of Road Traffic and Safety Services. That moratorium had expired, but I'm pleased to report to this August House that the government of Professor Tarika has observed that numerous motor vehicles remain unregistered, and accordingly, the government is going to extend this moratorium to an additional 6 months effective 1st April. I would like therefore to take this opportunity. I would like to take this opportunity to urge all Kabaza motorcycle operators that have not yet cleared their motorcycles with MRI and registered them with Road Traffic Directorate to make use of this 6 months moratorium period, noting that this is the second extension of the moratorium period, and in this regard, the window will be closed at the expiry of 6 months. Mr. Speaker, sir, to harmonize tax treatment for religious materials. Mr. Speaker, sir, to harmonize the tax treatment of religious materials that are ordinarily duty-free, government will remove, I know you expected an increase, is going to remove import taxes on Bibles, the Quran, and other religious audio materials. These items will now be imported duty-free under the customs procedure code 422.
So they were taxing Bible. They were taxing Quran.
Can I still repeat on this one? For the stakeholders out there, I'm saying that to harmonize the tax treatment of religious materials that are ordinarily duty-free, government will remove import taxes on Bibles, the Quran, and other religious audio materials. And these will be imported duty-free under the customs procedure code 422. Mr. Speaker, sir, to reduce the influx of products that are readily produced domestically, and to protect emerging local industries, government is introducing import surcharges on selected imported goods. This is done to promote import substitution. These include, amongst others, the list is a bit longer. These are to do with dressed pottery, maize seed, eggs, sweets, biscuits, crispies, matches, toothpicks, vegetables, aluminium pots, diapers, mono cartons, treated electric poles, treated electricity poles, plastic furniture, ball pens, and other specialized products. The full list of these materials is attached to my statement. I'm sure you're going to see it. Mr. Speaker, sir, government has also noted a growing influx of powdered soft drink flavors. Government has noted a growing influx of powdered soft drink flavors, typically packaged in sachets. People mix these powders or powdered flavors with water to produce beverages such as orange, lemon, and cola-flavored drinks. To discourage their consumption, particularly due to potential negative health effects they bring to people, government is introducing an excise tax of 20% on these powdered drink flavors. Mr. Speaker, sir, in order also to in order to ensure that export proceeds are repatriated back to Malawi, especially on the export of sugar, effective immediately, VAT will be applied on all sugar exports, but will be refunded. I sorry, want to repeat this. Yes. It will be refunded upon proof of export proceeds and by evidence of repatriation of export proceeds to Malawi. This is to protect the preference because we are losing our sugar and the proceeds were not coming. So to do so, we are saying, technically we are saying VAT will not be applicable, but it will be refunded upon proof of export supported by evidence of repatriation of export proceeds to Malawi. Mr. Speaker, sir, in order to discourage the export of scrap metal, government is also introducing export duty on scrap metal. This measure addresses concerns related to vandalism of electricity cables, telecommunication infrastructure, railway and bridges. Mr. Speaker, sir, in the quest to strengthen local manufacturing and also to deepen value addition and advance the Buy Malawi strategy, all security agencies will henceforth be required to either make their own uniforms or procure their uniforms from local manufacturers. To support this initiative and ensure competitiveness and quality production, these institutions will be allowed or permitted to import on duty-free basis all raw materials used in the making of uniforms. Yes. Mr. Speaker, sir, also to support agricultural modernization and climate resilience farming, government also removing the import duties on greenhouses. This will enhance productivity and promote sustainable agricultural practices. Mr. Speaker, sir, in order to improve service delivery in the education and health sector, government is going to remove import duty on heavy-duty generators exceeding 75 kVA when imported by registered and licensed education institutions and hospitals. Mr. Speaker, sir, in order also to enhance domestic revenue collection, government is also introducing taxes on selected luxury goods. These are luxury goods, and these include expensive wristwatches, perfumes, necklaces, earrings, bangles, bracelets, cufflinks, and video game consoles. Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, government is also increasing. Please, I need to be heard in silence. Mr. Speaker, sir, government is also increasing the carbon tax payable by foreign registered motor vehicles, noting that the rates were last revised several years ago. This adjustment ensures alignment with government's environmental objectives associated with curbing carbon emissions into the atmosphere. Mr. Speaker, sir, government also introduced import duty on artificial flowers, excluding risks which will continue to be imported duty-free. Mr. Speaker, sir, the August House is aware that currently fully electric motor vehicles and hybrid vehicles are exempt from import duty and excise tax. While this policy has supported the transition towards cleaner transport, government now seeks to further promote adoption of fully electric vehicles, which offer greater environmental and fuel efficiency benefits. In this regard, government will introduce an excise tax of 10% on hybrid, I repeat, hybrid motor vehicles with an engine capacity of 1,501 to 2,500 cc, and 20% on hybrid motor vehicles with an engine capacity of 2,501 and above. Mr. Speaker, sir, in line with the commercial principles of international trade, government through Malawi Revenue Authority approved some cross-border operations confirmed as secure and compliant taxpayers in order to enjoy the benefits of smooth and faster clearance of their goods through a scheme known as Authorized Economic Operators, AEO. In order to strengthen compliance and monitoring and ensure integrity of the scheme, government will also review the Authorized Economic Operators regulations to also be in line with the regional practice. Mr. Speaker, sir, finally, under the customs and excise tax measures, government will revive various administrative fees charged by Malawi Revenue Authority, including processing fees, escort fees, to ensure cost recovery and improved service delivery. Value-added tax measures. Mr. Speaker, sir, after thorough consultation with various stakeholders, government is raising the mandatory registration threshold for value-added tax from the current annual turnover of 25 million to 50 million. Further, businesses with an annual turnover below the new 50 million threshold will no longer be registered for VAT and will not be required, I repeat on this one, they will not be required to operate under the EIS. This means that the smaller and medium enterprises, as well as the cross-border traders, will be excluded, or they not use, or they not be charged VAT, and they will not going to be on EIS. I'm saying this because I'm sure in the rest past, I think people misunderstood the EIS. The small and medium enterprises will not be involved will not register for the VAT, and the EIS will not be applicable. However, companies with an additional turnover exceeding 50 billion or 50 million will be obliged to register for VAT and comply with EIS requirements. This decision has been taken deliberately to ease compliance burden on small and medium enterprises and cross-border traders, while ensuring that businesses with sufficient capacity continue to operate within VAT and EIS framework. Mr. Speaker, sir, some international companies are providing services to Malawians over the internet and earning income from users in Malawi without being physically located in Malawi. Examples of these international companies include platforms such as Netflix, Facebook, YouTube, and others. Malawians are paying for these service providers to watch movies, listen to music, advertise products, download software or phone applications, and access many other digital services. However, these services currently do not attract VAT. Whereas if the same services are provided by local companies, VAT is charged. This is unfair. This creates an even playing field between foreign digital service providers and the local businesses. Thus, to capture the locally generated value by foreign companies that is presently escaping taxation, and to promote fairness and equity between digital and traditional business offering similar services, government is introducing VAT on digital services supplied by foreign companies. I will be presenting a bill on this detailing how the tax will operate. Allow me to point out, Mr. Speaker, sir, that this tax is already applicable in our neighboring countries, including Zambia, Kenya, Uganda, and many others. Mr. Speaker, sir, government is also undertaking a review of VAT Act with regards to the list of exempt goods or individuals and institutions that import some goods duty-free, to ensure that there is a proper balance between revenue needs and social consideration. I will be presenting a detailed bill highlighting these areas where we are making these adjustments. Mr. Speaker, sir, government is also harmonizing and realigning the period for claiming tax refunds under the VAT Act and the Tax Administration Act to 6 months to ensure consistency in tax administration and ensure clarity for taxpayers. Income tax measures. Mr. Speaker, sir, irrigation farming represents the future of agriculture in this country. If you are to achieve food self-sufficiency and significantly boost its agricultural sector. In recognition of this, government will allow construction of dams and other farm water infrastructure to be treated as deductible expense, similar to the provisions currently provided to rice and sugarcane farming. We believe this initiative will provide irrigation-based farming across a variety of crops, including the high-value crops such as macadamia, thereby enhancing productivity and sustainability in the sector. Mr. Speaker, sir, following a constructive engagement with various stakeholders in the gaming industry, stock market traders, and the banking and the telecommunication sectors, I am pleased to provide the following clarification and make targeted adjustments to certain taxes and levies to ensure fairness, efficiency, and alignment with the economic growth objectives. 1. With regard to motor vehicle insurance accident levy, which I announced in my 2025-26 mid-year budget statement, government is taking further steps to strengthen its administration. To that end, the responsibility of its collection will be aligned to the Malawi Revenue Authority. The necessary amendments will be made to the Taxation Act to give effect to the operation of this measure. 2, with regard to capital gains tax on the sale of listed shares, government has, following thorough consultation of key players in the financial and capital markets industry, resolved to simplify the current regime. In this regard, the existing capital gains tax on the disposal of listed shares will be replaced with a final withholding tax of 2% on the gross proceeds from the sale of such shares. This withholding tax will be deducted at source by the broker, the Malawi Stock Exchange, or any other person designated under the law. In addition, Mr. Speaker, sir, following extensive consultation with stakeholders in the gaming and lottery sector, including the regulator, Malawi Gaming and Lottery Authority, MAGRA, government has also resolved to reform the taxation of winnings in this sector. In order to simplify administration and enhance compliance, government will move away from taxing winnings and instead introduce a final withholding tax of 10% on wagered amount for casinos and 15% final withholding tax on withdrawals for lotteries and sports betting. On bank levy, the levy will not apply for transfers of government funds to and from the Reserve Bank of Malawi and commercial banks. Government is also further simplifying the administration of residential rental income by introducing a final withholding tax of 15%. However, rental income derived from commercial property will continue to be subject to withholding. No changes are being made in that regard. Mr. Speaker, sir, government is also introducing several administrative amendments to the Taxation Act to strengthen tax administration and compliance. These include providing electronic services of documents under Section 37 of the Taxation and Administration Act, thereby modernizing communication between taxpayers and the tax authority. Secondly, we're also going to defining the mineral royalty period as 1 month under the 17th schedule to the Taxation Act, thereby ensuring clarity and consistency in administration. 3, clarifying that the bank or the money transfer levy is not an allowable deduction for income tax purposes. 4, introducing a provision under the Section 39, subsection 3 of the Taxation and Administration Act, allowing transfer pricing audit to go back up to 9 years, and rewriting taxation of supernormal profit to profit. Let me come again there. Rewriting the taxation of a supernormal profit tax to improve also clarity. Non-tax revenue measures. Mr. Speaker, sir, government is also undertaking a comprehensive review of all user fees, charges, fines collected by various ministries, departments and agencies. This exercise is aimed at improving service delivery in the public sector by ensuring that fees and charges are cost reflective. Mr. Speaker, sir, in line with the directive by His Excellency, the State President, Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika, we are automating most government functions, especially the collection of non-tax revenue. Our objective is to eliminate cash transactions across all MDAs to enhance transparency, reduce leakages, and improve accountability. Under this reform, Mr. Speaker, sir, payments for public services such as police fees and fines will only be made through mobile money. Our objective is to eliminate cash transactions across all MDAs, to enhance transparency, reduce leakages, and improve accountability. Under this reform, payments for public services such as police fees and fines will only be made through mobile money, bank transfers, visa payments, via point of sale machines, or direct bank deposits. This reform will be rolled out on 1st April 2026, and I'm glad that this issue was also actually proposed by police itself, because they know that we are losing money. And also I want to say that this reform will also extend to other ministries, departments and agencies. Finally, on the tax measures, Mr. Speaker, sir, government will be undertaking a review of all concessions and treasury funds with a view to assess their effectiveness and value addition to the budget. Consequently, concessions and treasury orders for all non-performing treasury funds will be revoked. Conclusion. Mr. Speaker, sir, I wish to express my sincere appreciation to all Malawians for their constructive contributions throughout the budget formulation process. Mr. Speaker, sir, I would like to extend our sincere appreciation to the following cooperating partners for the support they continue to give to the Malawi government, starting with the World Bank, African Development Bank, the Flanders, International Fund for Agricultural Development, IFAD, the Republic of Zimbabwe, India, the Kingdom of Morocco, Norway, Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office, FCDO, of the United Kingdom, Japan, Ireland, Iceland, Switzerland, Korea, and also our private sector. Especially the financial institutions and the corporate organizations, starting with the First Capital Bank, First Discount House, Standard Bank, Press Corporation, National Bank, Eco Bank, Airtel Malawi, Nyasa Tobacco Company, and the Petroleum Importers Limited, Nico Group in partnership with NBS Bank for their unwavering support. Furthermore, Mr. Speaker, sir, I would also like to recognize and commend the support by the private sector, particularly Pacific Limited, in rehabilitating boreholes covering every constituency in the country. I'm sure all MPs here, you know. I'm sure we all know MPs were all benefiting as we speak today. So I thought it is very important that it's very important that we need to recognize such support. And because of the rehabilitation of the boreholes, this has contributed to the improved access to safe and potable water. In addition, Mr. Speaker, sir, I also thank the International Monetary Fund for the continued support being provided to the country, and it is government's expectation that in the short to medium term will negotiate and conclude a new program. I'm also pleased, Mr. Speaker, sir, to report that our negotiation, our discussion with the IMF and World Bank are moving smoothly. Mr. Speaker, sir, let me also appreciate the United Nations, European Union, United States of America for the support to the health sector, the Global Fund for the support to the health sector, the Federal Republic of Germany for the pledges made under the new bilateral government-to-government compact, the Saudi and Kuwait Fund for the commitment to finance the Blantyre District Hospital, and the Abu Dhabi Fund for the commitment to support the rehabilitation of the Bakri Muluz International Airport. And furthermore, Mr. Speaker, sir, I would also like to express our profound appreciation to the People's Republic of China for the continued support and for the grant financing, which was announced yesterday, for the extension of the dualization of the Kanengo to Kamuzu International Airport, and also the digitalization of the government services. Mr. Speaker, sir, it is now my humble and humility that I beg to move. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister of Finance. Honorable members, let's take our seats. Let's give our Minister of Finance a round of applause. Thank you. Thank you. Well done, our Minister. Honourable members, let me also commend honourable members sitting directly opposite me. There's members from UTM, members of UDF, and a lot of independents as well. You have always maintained order. Keep it up. Keep it up.
Speaker Musiani Tandindani.
Sound. Mic check. 1, 2, 1.
Honourable members, before we adjourn, I have some announcements to make.
Kuyambira chaka chino mpaka chaka cha mawa ndipo tu akhudza mbali zosiyana-siyana za chitukuko cha dziko lino kumbali ya zachuma komanso ngakhale ndalama zomwe zigwiritsidwe ntchito m'maunduna osiyana-siyana ngati unduna wa zaulimi, zamaphunziro, zaumoyo, zokopa alendo, zamphamvu, zamagetsi komanso mafuta, mbali zosiyana-siyana kumene kupite ndalama komanso kuonetsetsa kuti chakudya mdziko muno chilipo chokwanira. Je, ndalama zimenezi nzoti ziyamba kugwira ntchito pa 1 April chaka chino, ndipo tu zomwe zichitike nzoti kuyambira lolemba likubwerali aphungu akunyumba ya malamulo akhale tsopano akuzukuta bwinobwino ndondomeko ya chuma imene nduna ya zachuma yapereka nyumba ya malamulo. Amakhala magulu osiyana-siyana aphungu amene amati ma cluster amene amaunikira ndondomeko yonse ya chuma chimenechi, ndipo tu iwowa akambirana kwa sabata ziwiri ndipo kenako aphungu adzapitiriza kukambirana nkhani zina ndi zina ngati mene akhala akuchitira kumbuyoku. Sabata ziwiri zapitazi amakambirana zimene anayankhula mtsogoleri wa dziko lino Profesa Arthur Peter Mutharika mene ankatsegulira msonkhano umenewu wa aphungu aku nyumba ya malamulo. Ndiye pompano ndili ndi mzanga yemwe uja Philip Business amene wamvetsera bwinobwino ndondomeko ya zachuma imene komanso akhale akucheza ndi anthu angapo kuti azukute bwinobwino ndondomeko ya zachuma imeneyi. Philip, anduna atu azachuma afotokoza ndondomeko ya chuma chomwe boma ligwiritse ntchito kuyambira chaka chino mpaka chaka chamawa.
Nthawi imene timayidikira dziko la Malawi linayima chilichonse kuima kubadikira nthawi imeneyi kuti timve ndondomeko ya zachuma kuyambira chaka chino 2026 mpaka 2027. Muli zambiri zimene zankhulidwa mmenemo, koma ndagwira mawu awiri atatu kuti budget imeneyi pa Chingereza amati people centered, tipange za anthu komanso kumapanga zinthu za community driven, zinzoti ani achewo
akumudzi maderamu.
mukumbukira nkhani ya CDF kunabwera nthawi ija kuti atangochula CDF 5 billion munali phokoso mmenemo, koma anatsindika kuti nthawi yokuti anthu akumudzi amene amakhala kumudzi nawonso adyerere apange chitukuko chimene akuchifuna asankhe okha. Ndalama isamangokhala kuboma kuja ku central government, koma ipite kumudzi ndalama. Ine sindikamba zambiri, muli anthu osiyanasiyana achula athokoza amene mwanduna amene amatithandiza mayiko osiyanasiyana. Muli mabungwe nkhani za wana, mabungwe amene amang'ananso nkhani za maphunziro, mabungwe amene amang'ananso za umoyo. Tikumvanso kuti nkhani yayikulu chuma, msasakaze chuma, expenditure, nkhani yakatafunidwe ka ndalama chonde akuti boma ayesetsa ndithu kuti katafunidwe ka ndalama, chifukwa kukhala ndalama ndi katafunidwe ndi zinthu ziwiri zosiyana. Sana nkhani yamene injoti tisamale ndalama. Chitsanzo ku embassy kuyambira lero anthu asanu basi kuphatikiza ambasada njira imodzi yoti chuma chisungike. Ndi tifuna timve ndikandi kucheza ndi anthu osiyanasiyana, timve menayo kuverera ndithu nkhani imeneyi nyumba ya malamulo, koma muli zambiri zimene zopatsa chiyembekezo, zikupereka chiyembekezo kwa Malawi, koma nkhani anatsindika ndoti tikhale ndithu anthu otsindika pa discipline, tichite zinthu mwadongosolo, tisatafune ndalama ngati matomato kuti ndalama tazipeza. Anatikusanyadide 5 billion tiziyang'ananso kuti kodi mukugwiritsa bwanji ntchito ndalama imeneyi performance based. Mukangokanika kugwiritsa bwino ntchito ndalama imeneyi sitikupatsaniso
tambala iliyonse ioneka kuti yagwira ntchito.
Mabungwe aja amapereka ndalama akuti makhala misonkho yawo musachite zakatangale, mukangochita zakatangale mumangidwa. So nkhani imene tifuna timve kuti anthu ayimva bwanji, koma tiyamba kucheza ndi amene tikuti a Philip Majika amene ndi a chief budget analyst ku nyumba ya malamulo. Raymond posachita pa kuti so anduna ali ndi msonkhano wa nkhani. Tathamanga kumeneko ukaone kuti tapatsire omvera athu amene akuti tsata chilichonse kuno sitikusiya kanthu. Zikomo kwambiri Raymond. Ndicheze ndi a Philip Majika amene wandithu ndi chief budget, tinayamba nawo kuyambira kuja chief budget analyst ku nyumba ya malamulo. Tinanenatu mwayang'ana Malawi timanena kuti ntchito ya budget siyamasewera. Kodi ndondomeko zake zimene matsatira kuti zikafika kuti zapya mmene zafikira lero mmayenda motani Majika?
Njira yake ndi yaitali Philip. Ku executive ku a minister amatsogolera ntchito imeneyi kuti ma ministry, ma department, ma government agencies apange mapulani awo kuti kodi afuna apange achieve zotani. Poyang'aniranso masomphenya a 2063 suti angolota kuti tipange zakuti koma akatenge mfundo ma project ndondomeko kuchokera mmasomphenya aja, akapereka zimenezi kwa anduna amaziunikira ndi kukambirana nawo anthu aja ndi kuzikira ndalama kuti izizo mukhuzopanga ndi ndalama izizo ndi izi. Akachoka pamenepo amayenda dziko lonse kufunsa anthu osiyanasiyana, akaswira maphunziro azachuma, achinyamata, ama business kuti inu mukuona bwanji. Pamapeto pake amaunda nkota kuti titolera ndalama izi komanso tizigwisa ntchito motere, ndipo ngati pali kuperewera tipezanso ndalama kwa madonors komanso mobwereka motere. Ndi mmene ndondomeko ya budget imayendera kuti izafike kuno ku parliament. Ikafikanso kuno ndi ntchito yayikulu. Tateremu parliament ilowa ma cluster meetings mawiki awiri akubwera kuzukuta ministry, department, agency ina iliyonse, program ina iliyonse, project iliyonse kuti kodi zayikidwadi bwino, zipinduladi, kodi tipangadi katundu ndi kutumiza kunja kapena ndi ndalama zongoja. Akaunika nkubwerera mu chamber nkukapangano vote, kupangano debate, kupanga vote ndi kuipanga pass budget, kukhala lamulo loti bomano kuyambira 1 April ayambe kugwiritsa ntchito kupereka ma service komanso ma productive areas kulandira chithandizo.
Andikumbutsa kanthu kena Majika kuti budget ndondomeko za chuma.
Yes.
akayivomereza aphungu imasanduka lamulo zotanthauza chani?
Zikutanthauza kuti ndi lamulo lonena kuti a Minister of Finance apasidwa mphamvu yotolera ndalama zimenezi ndi kuzigwirisanso ntchito mmene nyumba ya malamulo yavomerezera, ndipo alekere pamene nyumba ya malamulo yalekera kuti apa mpamene mulekera ngati budget yathuyi akuti ifika pa 10.98 trillion ndekuti yapanga lamulo parliament kuti simudusa pa nduna ngati azayipangedi pasi pamenepa popanda kusintha kalikonse nde zikukhala choncho.
Tikuthokozeni Philip Majika. Zikomo kwambiri.
Tathokoza.
Zikomo kwambiri. Mugwira ntchito yabwino, tathokoza kwambiri.
Zikomo kwambiri.
Amene nda Philip Majika amene ali chief budget analyst. Timafuna atipatse kachithunzi pang'ono kuti ndondomeko zimayenda motani, kuti nchifukwa chani budget ndondomeko ya zachuma imakhala lamulo zikutanthauza chani. Atolankhani athu alipo tili ndi Patrick Dambula, tufuna tinyotsolere mono namo kuti kodi mwina tivetse motani budget imeneyi. Patrick Dambula alipo, tiso ndi Babla Mwandia atifotokozerenso, ndiponso aphungu amene ali nyumba ya aphungu afike pafupi tingomvabenso kuti maganizo awo ndi otani. Patrick Dambula tinacheza kuyambirira kuja Patrick kuti kodi anthu ayembekezere zotani. Tangonyotsola mochita nangasa nduna amayankhula mchingerezi. Tanyotsola mwina amene chifukwa timamva ina pena kuimbira m'manja anthu mkatimo, tangonyotsola apo ndi apo mwachidule.
Yayi zona anena kuti budget itsamira kwambiri pa nkhani ya ulimi, zokopa alendo, zopangapanga za mafactory, mining, agriculture, tourism ndi ntchito za magetsi. Ndi ndalama zambiri ziperekedwa kumene koko kuti chifukwa aona kuti zimenezo ndi zimene zingathandize kuti dziko lino lipite patsogolo. Ndiye ndaona ndithu mabiliyoni ochuluka akuperekedwa ku ntchito za ulimi, 900 chakuti biliyoni, 900 chakuti biliyoni yaperekedwa ku ntchito za ulimi. Taona kuti kwaperekedwanso 52 biliyoni imene ikupita ku ntchito za mining, energy ndi mabiliyoni ena ochuluka amene achita prioritize kuti magawo ake akhale atatu 4 amene wawa: agriculture, mining, tourism and manufacturing. Kumene koko ndikumeyaona kuti kukupite ndalama zochuluka kuposa kwina konse, chifukwa choti ati ndikumeyaona kuti dziko lino kuti lidzuke pa nkhani za chuma, nkhani zake tilimbikitse zimenezizi. Migodi iliko mdziko muno, maiko anzathu anachita bwino ndi migodi ku South Africa ndi kwina kotero, kodi ife tikulepherera pati. Ntchito za ulimi enanso amachita bwino ndi ulimi, enanso akuchita bwino chifukwa cha zopangapanga manufacturing. Ndi budget yatsamira kwambiri ku nkhani zimenezizi. Tsono kwinanso taona akunena kuti kwa nthawi yayitali anthu amene akuchita ritaya mboma akhala akudikira nthawi yayitali, miyezi yambiri, ena zaka, ena mpaka kumwalira akudikira. Koma kuti boma la ulendo uno la DPP likunena kuti yayi munthu nthawi yodikirira isamapose miyezi 3. Munthu akati wachita ritaya pa ntchito miyezi 3 azikhala kuti zake walandira. Ndiye kuti kwayikanso ndalama zochuluka kumene kuja sokuti apungule chikukumwe cha anthu chimene chakhala chikudikirira pa ndandanda. Apungule mokuti akuti pomafika Machi mwina anthu 11,000 chakuti akhala ndira zawo kuti ndithu pang'ono basi pekena athane nazo munthu zitheka kuti akachita ritaya 3 months zake walandira. Kumenekonso aponyako ndalama zochuluka.
Ndaona phungu tingonkoka kuthamanga poti anthu andamapise taimakayi pambali. Ndaona phungu akutuluka mkatimo atiuza ikha kuti akuchokera kuti angotiuza kuti amva zotani. Ndaoneka chinyamata kwambiri chifukwa ulendo uno mwachuluka chinyamata mmenemo, ndiye tangu agwira akutuluka mmenemo kumaoneka akutuluka mchimwemwe. Mutuluka mchimwemwe kodi muchokera kuti?
Ife tichokera mu nyumba ya malamulo.
Chabwino. Dera lakuti muyimira ndani kodi?
Ine Hastings Kajomba. Muyimira Cholo Konyeni Mangonda constituency. Kucholo ndithu.
Zikomo kwambiri. Tangu kukokani tu mmadutsa apa.
Zona zimene.
Ndi mwationa tangu kukokani atuka mchimwemwe.
Yes, kwambiri.
Zona?
Kwambiri.
Kwachitika chani mkatimo?
Mkatimo mwachitika zambiri. Tikuziwa lero principal wa Professor Arthur Mtalika nkoyamba kuti no anduna athu Joseph Mwanamveka apereke budget ndondomeko za chuma imene igwire ntchito choka pa 1 April 2025 kufika 2026. So mkati mmene mtaonamo zambiri, akamba za misewu, akamba za migodi, akamba za anzathu amene anakuba pa ntchito. Koma kwambiri fe ngati aphungu nyumba ya malamulo taona 5 billion imene ikubwera
na uva mnachita phokoso
tinaomba mmanja ndipo tinavina kwambiri chifukwa President wa dziko la Malawi Professor Arthur Mtalika watenga ndalama kuchoka Capitol Hill wakuzika kumuzi ku constituency imene chitukuko chonse tsopano chizogonera kumuzi sitimanganaso capital hill
koma kuti pasopo ndi 5 billion pasopo
ayi ndithu kumene ndi game changer
kunyadira kuti mukadya ndalama
imene sizikudibwa ndalama zija zimafika pa council and MP alibe mphamvu zokasainira ndalama zija zichuluke ku council ndalama zija aine zimakhala ndikuangana ndi council ngati kwathu kucholo ndikuti council kucholo cholo ini mphamvu zoti ndalama zija zoti zigwira ntchito bwanji koma mwazonse tikuona kuti chitukuko chatheka
chinthu chimodzi chimene muchite ndi 5 billion kwanu kucholo dera lanu kumangunda kupanga chani
tikumanga secondary school tikumanga mabridge tikuyika magesi kwa ndalama tikumanga misika so kuli zambiri zimene tipange ndalama ijayo igwira ntchito kuneno dera lathu la Khonjeni Mangoda constituency itukuke
zikomo kwambiri tikuthokoza tipepanje tinango ukokani kuti aona aba olemekezeka kutuluka mkatimo mungotipatsa kachithunzi tipitirize abale athu dambula tulangani wathu dambula abwereso apa kuti tinyotsoli magawo ena pali Babula Mwandira ndi Hassan Phiri nayenso atifotokozere kuti watula zotani mu ndondomeko imeneyi. Babula nawenso naye ndi chidwi ngakhale pa online ndithu nayo otanganidwa ndithu kwauza Malawi tsatane zimene zikuchitika mmenemo zimene akukamba wolemekezeka Mwanamveka watola chani iweyo?
Ifeyo tatola zambiri mu budget imeneyi monga nzanga ananenera nkhani ya pensions fund komanso kumaphunziro kwaponyedwa ndalama ndithu kuonesesa kuti ndalama zimene amalipira ophunzira zimenezi zichoke komanso pali nkhani yabwino nzanga akukamba za construction ya radiotherapy imene ku National Cancer Center nkhani ya kuzaumoyo komanso nkhani imene ya construction ya Khwisa chipatala cha Khwisa Health Center komanso Chiponda ku Lilongwe kutanthauza zoti pali zitukuko zimene zafika mu budget imeneyi ndiye pali zambiri tamvanso ku mining ku nkhani ya zachuma nkhani ya chakudya ku transport akambanso ndithu kuti nthambi zonse zaboma zifikiridwe akuna kuti budget imeneyi itu ndiyofikira onse ochepekedwa komanso akuti anthu akumuzi osauka amve kukoma. Honorable Mwanamveka atulatu chithumba chimenechi ndithu pamene tazukuta sitingamalize zonse malingana ndi nthawi 40 amene wanso akhala kuyankhula ndi atola nkhani posachedwa panzanga tikhale tikutambasula zambiri mu madocumentaries komanso ndi nkhani maprogramu otsatira mu nkhani ya budget imeneyi.
zikomo kwambiri ndimene tikuchitira panopo tikunena kuti ndi zambiri zikuchitika posachedwa apa olemekezeka Mwanamveka akhala kuchititsa ndithu msonkhano wa atola nkhani timafuna titsirize moteromo tikhala tikupatsirani zinazo mwatsatanetsatane ndimuthokoze nzanga Raymond Katayika amene adayamba ntchitoyi atola nkhani wathu Hassan Phiri Chimbiza Msumuko Babula Mwandira dena otere amene athandiza Stanley Kadzuwa amene athandiza ndithu kuyang'ana ndithu ndondomeko imeneyi mukhalepo mpunkhani zathu zosiyanasiyana kuti mudzimva kutsogoloko kuti akupatsirani zotani aboma komanso udindo wanu ndi otani. Tithokoza kwambiri. Dzina langa ndi Philip Business.
What's your name? Barry, huh? It's my game.
We put everything into this.
Those that can do it and succeed,
how to fix it.
This city
It
has
isn't
been
just a
my home for
cookbook, it's part of
being hit here.
With the latest global news and insightful documentary.
Transition.
Understanding the
But if you ask them know